The Mimic is brokenly strong. Its simple but effective ability to recreate your current build and then use that power itself it's insane. Not only that, but its AI is pretty smart, and it even comes with its own flask to drink for survivability. In a way, it's like summoning another player without the drawbacks of increasing the boss health. And on top of all of that, it costs health to summon compared to some of the high FP requirements of the legendary spirits that we've seen so far. So yeah, if you have a broken build, the Mimic is of course going to have that same build and you'll reap the rewards. Absolutely no one should be doubting the power of the Mimic at this point, and it's very easy to say with confidence that it is the strongest summon in the game. However, what if there were spirit summons that could compete with the Mimic, thanks to maybe their utility and unique effects? Myself and Josh have actually been doing tests with lots of different spirits to see if anyone can compete, and so far we found 2 summons that can challenge the Mimic. Black Knife Tiche, which we have a video on, and now one more contender. So welcome back to Rage Gaming, my name is Solo, let's get started. I would like to introduce you to Cleanrot Knight Finlay. This is of course another legendary Ashen Remains, just like the Mimic, but with her own respectable power and pretty cool lore actually as well. As you can see, she can do both melee and ranged combat, but has physical damage with the sword and holy damage with those ranged attacks. She's able to buff you to increase your physical resistance, and she vomits Scarlet Rot on your foes, which will straight up burn through their health bar, no matter how big it is, just like that. In essence, this summon brings a lot of utility to the table and should absolutely be considered in certain situations. If the boss has a huge health bar, then her Scarlet Rot is going to be incredible for that entire fight, burning through the health bar even after Finlay dies. If the enemy is weak to holy damage like an undead enemy, well then of course she's going to beat them down, and her mix of melee and range means she's always able to deal damage. Her physical protection buff, well that lasts 30 seconds, which she can and will reapply over and over throughout the fight. That physical protection buff would normally come from something like the Dragon Shield Talisman, which will boost your physical damage negation. But of course, you have to give up a talisman slot to run that, whereas Finlay can just buff you. The biggest downside then to Finlay is her FP cost. At 127, this is one of the most expensive summons to actually bring out, right? So it doesn't matter if she's got certain purposes and uses that could compete with the Mimic does it, if you can't actually summon her. But take a look. I have 10 mind, and I just summoned her. It's actually possible for you to summon any summon without the mind or FP requirement. That is, of course, through the Flask of Wondrous Physic. As you can see, I have the Cerulean Hidden Tear, which eliminates all FP consumption. So while I don't have that buff active, you can see that I can't summon Finlay because I don't have 127 FP. I have way less than that. But as soon as I drink this flask, I now have infinite FP, and now I can summon any summon, including the very expensive Finlay. So as soon as you have that Cerulean Tear, you can use this to your heart's content and bring out any big boy summon. Josh's insane one-shot build, of course, uses this to spam out very powerful spells at no cost, in the same way we can use it to summon any spirit without that FP cost. I expected this not to work because, you know, my FP just isn't high enough in the first place, but no, I can do it either way. To get the Cerulean Hidden Tear, then, you're going to need to come to this minor Erd tree and defeat the boss at it. This is in the Mount Gilmere region, right next to the Volcano Manor, at the northwestern side of the whole world, basically. And you just need to run to the tree from, I would recommend this grace, the Road of Iniquity right here. And then we just run downhill, heading east. Here we have the Erd tree. You will have a mini-boss, one of the ulcerated tree spirits. And upon killing that tree spirit, you will be rewarded with the tear that we're after. After you mix that at a grace and have it ready to go, we can use it and then summon any spirit of any kind at any cost, no matter what your starting FP is, which is really, really cool. Alright, so Finlay and her Scarlet Rot are very strong and could be comparable to the Mimic in certain fights, right? But how do you get her? You need to make your way here to the Halig Tree region or secret area of the world. This is in the mountaintops of the Giants region, and you get here by using the elevator, the Grand Lift of Rold, by using the quote-unquote secret medallion, that being the Halig Tree secret medallion. With 2 sides, you must get both of them. Fortunately, one side is really easy to get, the village here of the Albinorix. This is at the southwestern point of the lake region. We can get this very early in the game. You just come to the grace here, the actual main grace of the town. This is under the plateau that you'll see on your map. And after you run past this wonderful guy playing his music, you will see on your right here around this corner a pot. If you roll into that, it will turn out that it's actually a villager, and if you have a conversation with him, he will give you 1/2 of this medallion. Perfect. On the other hand, you need to come to Castle Sol for the other half of the medallion. Castle Sol, though, is at the northern point of the eastern side of the Mountaintops of the Giants, that being the half of this area, this region that you go to normally by progressing the story. Like I said, it's the north side. Just go to it, go through it, defeat the boss. And then here at the tower at the back, up top, up an elevator, will be the other half of the medallion. Then we need to come back to the Grand Lift of Rold, which is the beginning point of the Mountaintops of the Giants, and we need to present the medallion. So all you need to do to that is go to it, and you see how it says hoist medallion, but then you have a switch action. You do that by pressing right or left on the D-pad, and now we can hoist a secret medallion. And as you can see, another cinematic will play. You'll be lifted up, and you'll be brought to the left side, the west side of the secret area. This whole section here of the Mountaintops of the Giants, called the Consecrated Snowfield. To get to the Haligtree region then, you need to come to Aldina, this little town here, and make your way up to the northwestern point of it. Here you activate the sort of puzzle of this area, which requires you to go around and light 4 fires. Once you light the 4 fires, which you want to do quick because there'll be an assassin chasing you around while you do it, you'll be told that something has been unlocked, which means you can come up here now at the northern point of the whole town, and this portal will be activated, which will take you, of course, to the Haligtree. Now, going through the Haligtree region, you will have a few graces to grab and a single boss you must overcome before you can progress. After you defeat that boss, you'll come down a huge ladder and then also a huge lift, and you'll be brought down to the lower section here, the Brace of the Haligtree. First grace you'll find when you do that is the Prayer Room Grace, which is where I'm standing, and that is where we can go to get Finlay's summon. So just follow this path. We just follow this around, curving around to the left, past these suicide bombers and soldiers. We come down these steps right here, and we just jump off over the side here onto this pillar and down here onto this platform. And on my left, inside there, is a chest with a guard. Defeat the guard or not, just open the chest, and inside is, of course, the summon that we were after. This is all fairly reasonable to do once you have this region unlocked, but it can be a bit convoluted to get it all unlocked in the first place. But as we take a look at the power of Finlay, I do believe that she's a great summon. There's no doubt about this. Her utility is great, she's strong herself, she has holy damage, she has the damage protection buff, and the Scarlet Rot, which is obviously insane. If she gets that off in a fight, that is going to kill the boss or the enemy eventually. All you really have to do is stay alive while it kills the enemy for you. That's huge when we're talking about very difficult bosses with huge health bars. But yes, compared to the Mimic, I'm not going to lie and say that she's just as good. It's more like she has opportunities to compete or even be more useful, especially if you have a weaker build. But I still believe the Mimic is the best summon if you have a strong build to make the Mimic strong. For example, I have a Madness build that I'm running for PvP purposes, and Madness simply doesn't work on a lot of the bosses. So a Mimic isn't really going to be that useful for me there compared to one of these stronger summons. So I think it's good that we at least have some alternatives to look at for the Mimic, especially if you have a weaker build, or maybe you don't want to even use the Mimic because it's too strong, which is fair enough. Finlay then is certainly one of your best options. For now though, that is everything I have for you. I hope this video was interesting and useful. If it was, please drop a like so we can keep making them. Until next time though, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.